your financial freedom girl, Toyin Ayandari, and welcome to the Financial Freedom Now show. I'm so glad to be back here chatting with you about all things finances, helping you level up on your journey, helping you achieve your financial goals. We talk about everything that involves property, that props finances involves your income on this show. I am very passionate about this because I think it sums up my journey and how I've been able to go from zero to eight figures, which I am totally very humble about. But I also know how much work has been put in. I also know a lot of people did not think it was possible, but I want to help you on your journey to do that. So if you're new here, welcome. And if you're returning, please again, thank you for getting used for enjoying my content. May I invite you and ask that you please help share whether you're new. If you like this content, if it's been of some value to you, then please note that it will be value to your friends and family. So I appreciate every share that you can to help spread the word. We're back on our property series. We're talking about series 4 this time. We're talking about how to finance your property ventures because it's very good and nice that I'm talking about going into property, which is one of the things I do as one of my income sources, which is one of my major income sources, which is property investment, property development. And it's very nice to say, oh, well, get into property. One of the things we want to talk about is how you can actually finance those property investments. It is it's no secrets that property investment, real estate buying is probably one of the most expensive asset a lot of people would ever buy, and so it's not an inexpensive venture. So how do you actually do this? So if no matter what podcast platform or vodcast platform you're listening to me on, please note that you can always comment and share this and ask questions. And if you're not familiar with any of those platforms, then please send an email to academy@iconrange.co.uk. You should see that in the show notes as well, or and please reach out because I'm always open to have is an initial conversation on what strategy you're looking to do to help you on your journey. So we're going to be talking about financing your property venture, and I've got a bit of notes here, right? I've written here. One of the things I don't want you to make a mistake of is assuming that if you're looking to do some form of property investment, and you're not looking to buy for yourself or to live in, you're going to be using this as a commercial venture, means that you cannot get any finance options. Because that was the mistake I made when I started my journey. I thought this had to be cash, purely because I did not do what other things I had said to you to do in series 3. So if you've not done them, listen to that. Please go back and listen to what we talk about building your power team. I did not have a property mentor when I started off. My property mentor came from watching TV, property programs on TV, and I'd seen that a lot of people were buying property. There was never any mention of any finance option, so I thought you had to buy cash, and this slowed me down for a while because I was limited to the amount of money in my bank account, and I don't want that to be the same story for you because there are finance options out there that could support your venture, your proposition. So let's talk about this. I mean, I guess the first finance options in terms of buying properties, you could buy cash from savings. If you've saved a lot, you can actually buy the property without having any sort of finance option. That is goes without saying. I think that's quite clear. But if just in case it's not clear to anyone, then know that you can buy a property without a mortgage, without any finance option. You can buy straight up cash, as long as your the solicitors will do diligence on the finance and where it's come from. And once you're satisfied, they would allow you exchange monies, the money's exchange hands, and you can buy the property that way. But also, if you were not looking at doing that, and you don't have enough cash, certainly there are loads of investment opportunities out there. There's the mortgages, which is probably the most common one within the UK where I live in, mortgages. But there are also you can buy properties with private finance from private investors. So these are individuals, family, friends. You can get money from them and obviously use that to buy. It's almost almost as a form of cash. But more advanced from that is you using obviously money from private investors but this goes beyond family and friends. This could be from family offices or those private individuals who have access to cash, and they will serve as almost like your they will they're not mortgages, but they will serve as your lender, and they will have a charge on the property. So it's called things like first charge and second charges. They can give you money, put a charge on the property to protect their interest, and in return of getting that charge on the property, they will give you the funds to actually go ahead and buy. Now, I don't want to get complicated. This is not, I don't want to confuse you anymore, so I won't go into much detail with that, but just giving you an idea, overview of how you can have your property ventures finance. The other thing you can actually do when it comes to buying properties aside from mortgages and private finance, you start then looking at more technical advanced with funding lines, which are the commercial finance options. You have the likes of bridging loans, you have which is usually short-term lending. You have development finance, you have refurbishment loans. So there are a whole lot of more things that can actually be sourced. These are usually used for where you're looking to develop properties, or you're buying a property rundown and it's not mortgageable, because whilst mortgages are good, they're looking for properties that that you can reside in, more properties that are livable, that in habitable conditions. So if you're looking to buy properties that are uninhabitable, then obviously you're looking at the likes of bridging loans. So those are the options that you have with finance. Again, I'm not exhausting the list here at all, just trying to make you understand what's available and what you can actually use buy properties with. Now, in terms of my experiences, I just thought I'll share with you my experiences with securing funding for this. Because yes, it's good to know that you can actually have access to this, but what are the criteria? How is this acceptable and accessible to a new time, a first time buyer, or a newbie at property investment? The answer is yes. Now, please note that not every lender, even with your experience, would be every single investor's cup of tea. There would Each lender has different criterias that you might or might not meet up with. So please bear that in mind. Doesn't mean that you're not investable. Because I find I find some people say, oh, this particular lender. Some lenders are open to international investors. Some are not. Some of them would actually do invest to non-British nationals, and some would not. Some lenders will need you to have minimum income criteria, minimum income of 25,000, for example, and some have no income requirement. So there's always a lender for your situations. In most cases, I hardly ever seen that anyone's situation where there's absolutely no lender. I mean, as a matter of fact, there are lenders that would even invest in an individual with a bad credit history, and that takes me to the next point in terms of what are the criteria. How do you prepare yourself to make sure you are investable and make sure you can finance your property ventures? So one of the major thing you want is you want to have a good credit history. Building your credit is very key if you're looking to build to start up in property investment. Now, please do not take this as a absolute my dream is crushed. I've messed up my credit rating in the past, and so I cannot continue this venture. Absolutely not. Things might be slightly more difficult for you if you have a bad credit history, but it's not impossible. But if you are just starting on your journey, it's important that you build your credit history. Now, when I say have a good credit rating, doesn't necessarily mean no credit requirements whatsoever. As a matter of fact, some lenders would rather you have a slightly dented credit history than no credit history. Again, I'm not obviously trying to paint a picture here. I'm not saying don't take it that verbatim, but the idea here is that you want to show some form of credibility. If you approaching a lender and saying I need £1 million to buy a property, yet you do not have you have no credit facility whatsoever, not even a phone bill, nothing at all, then there's no way for that lender to be able to prove that this particular investor or borrower would have the credit worthiness to be able to pay back. So if you've not paid back £10 ever and there is no credit worthiness there, then how would a £1 million be given to you? Because I see a lot of people make that mistake and thinking that, well, if I if I'm just not going to borrow anything, I'm not going to put anything on credit. I'm not even going to put. I'm going to just pay for my phone cash. I don't want anything against my name. I'm thinking that is a clean way to actually live. Now, I'm not here to say right or wrong or how you should live, but I'm saying to you, if you're looking to access finance options for properties, that's one of the ways they can actually check. So please make sure you have a good credit history, and it's also a way of you helping yourself to manage debt. Lenders want to see that you are able to manage debt, otherwise it's quite difficult for them to be able to commit. So it key things that you want to understand here is you do not have to buy properties cash. You can buy them with cash, but you can also have other financial options in buying properties. And typically, when it comes to buying property for investment, you need roughly around 25% deposits we put down, and the lenders would lend you 75. When I said typically, there are products that you only need 15%, you only need 10%, and you obviously you're having higher interest rates. So just say typically doesn't mean that's the minimum. It's just round about that figure is a safe space to be in, especially in where the market is sort of changing. And as regards that, you also tend to pay a fixed interest rate annually, which would obviously be paid. You can be paid as interest only, or interest and capital repayment, as well as the interest. So you can choose what you need to do. Now, this all pertains to investment purchases. If you're looking at buying properties for your home, a lot of times that is income checked. So because with an investment, the idea is that there will be an earning capability with that property. So, for example, let's say you're renting the property out to a tenant who's going to be paying the interest as well as the capital from the rent. So you're able to pay that from the rent you receive. When it comes to your own home, it's not an asset, it's a liability, it's something, it's a payment that needs to come from your salaries or your income. And so it's assessed differently from a buy to let investment. I hope that sort of gives you a rough idea of what we mean when it comes to financing your property ventures. So what I'm trying to do is just a conversation starter and get you thinking about how you can actually start on this venture. I don't want you having the idea that I did many years ago, thinking the only way I could actually get into property was to have 100% of the purchase price. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. As a matter of fact, and I'm going to end on that note, you can actually get the lenders to pay for the cost of refurbishment on the property. But I'll leave that there, because if you need any more information on that, then please head over to bit.ly/icon free video, and you will get a lot of free resources, free trainings on property investment. And you also can email me at academy academy at iconrange.co.uk. Icon Range, all one word, ICONRANGE. You can see that right here. .co.uk, and obviously it's on the show notes as well. If you're watching this, then you can obviously see it on the screen. But if you're listening to me, please check the show notes on how you best to contact us and know how you can access all of this free information that will be beneficial to you building your property investment journey. Until next time, my name is Toyin Arundari, and I'll say to you at this point, God bless you. Take care. See you next time.